So here's a really great question. Morning. It's still about me feeling rather bloated. I've tried lamb, beef, and pork. Lamb made me feel most bloated, but also feels like it's increasing my blood pressure. Obviously, I'm a carnivore. What meat would you recommend? And also, what time do you think I should have my main meal? Afternoon or evenings? So this is just the sort of question that many people have. So I thought to just speak it out on camera and to go into detail one little bit at a time. So first and foremost, really great question to start looking at what you're eating and noticing the effect on the body, noticing, hold on a minute, I'm getting bloated when I'm eating this, and there's it's having its effect. So let's look at this one little bit at a time. I pause here because first and foremost, there's no exact, there's no right or wrong with diet. There is cause and effect, and there's noticing truth symptoms in your body. So noticing how your body responds to the things. First and foremost, you say that there is bloating, and you're noticing that the blood pressure is going up. So, and then you also say that obviously you're a carnivore. Well, the thing is that we are what we eat, and we can eat what we can digest. So mind can have all manner of ideas about what to eat and what's delicious and what we're used to eating. I know, of course, for everybody, what you grew up eating and what is your security food, what is your safety food, and what is your cultural food. So I pause again because this is such an emotive subject that it's necessary to really go gentle and slow with yourself. Gently, gently, gently. Try something out, listen to it, adjust. When you know you're on the right track, it works, you feel better. Not also forcing yourself into extreme diet plans that you can't maintain, and that will actually just the body grabs back, tries to, the pattern of eating then can become more deranged and irregular because the body goes into into shock, and not only the body, the emotions and mental realms and all manner of things. So my suggestion always is to do something that is in a way that it brings all of you along, in other words, and even the parts of you that are quite infantile and pre-linguistic, scoop them up and speak to them as well. The body starts to become convinced of changes in diet when it feels better. So the first thing that I'm saying is that, and underlining this, is that a significant sign of indigestion, as in inability to digest, is bloating. That's one of the first signs of indigestion, as in the body, to really emphasize the point, the body can't absorb the nutrients. So then what happens is, instead of being nourishing, even if it's a wonderful superfood, it's then just builds up in the body like silt, and is a toxic buildup, which then can cause heaviness and lethargy and a weightiness in mind, body, and spirit. So when you know that you're digesting well is when you're feeling vital and alive and enthusiastic, and you have clear thought, and there wouldn't be a sense of bloating in the body, bloating and constipation. Of course, things get more complex if there are long-term health issues, but to start peeling away some of the surface layers to understand yourself more carefully. I wouldn't use the term obviously. I'm a meat eater or not a meat eater. See, or anything obviously necessarily about the body, rather just really start to look, because the body is giving you, it is talking to you. So what meat would I recommend that wouldn't cause bloating? Perhaps it's not an answer that you would like to hear. I don't know, because it may be that most of the meat at the moment is causing bloating, because things, you know, when you're getting bunged up, or there's, if you haven't taken your rubbish out in a while and it's sitting under the kitchen sink and you keep on ramming in more stuff, it starts to build up, and then the body, just like that, it's feeling reactive, and there's a build up of toxicity in the body. So I suggest at this stage, and I always pause here because it's a matter of what you can handle and what you can maintain. As I'm saying, that's number one is, but then also balanced with, sure, and I know this in myself, you have what you can maintain and handle, but then also balanced with what is your present health confronting you with. And I say to myself that, as much as I would say to anybody else, rather start those little difficult steps in adjusting the diet now, rather than be confronted with something very much further down the line, like heart attack, stroke, cancers, or diabetes, all the major illnesses, serious mental health challenges, which are all intertwined. I can't say how much I know this for myself, which is why I certainly started studying these things for myself, because I needed to. And so it's taking little but intentional steps now, that then, as much as possible, give you the best future that is possible. So it may be that for the next day or 3 or a week, to reduce the meat down to the barest of minimum. If you can, for a day or 3, to have no meat and just give the body a rest. It's like for as just some days, not so. And if you need something, then maybe something like some light, smaller pieces of chicken or fish, something like that, and maybe cut it up fine, and just a lot less. And certainly for a day or 3, none, just to give the digestive system a pause. But then not making yourself go hungry, starting with some stewed fruit in the morning, something tasty like that, with prunes, in a little bit of prunes, something soaked in with some pear. You can put some other fruits and add a swizzle of tahini and coconut oil afterwards. So the coconut oil and the tahini, once you're done, just some warmth and filling in your tummy, eating it while it's warm but not too hot, and then having a soupy broth, certainly with turmeric in it, just like starting maybe with half a teaspoon, some black pepper, swizzle of olive oil afterwards, things like carrots and broccoli, little bit of sweet potato, some spinach, staying away from the cabbages because they tend to be bloating for you, but and sweet potato rather than the other potato, again, because it's easier on the digestion. Certainly making sure you've got enough to feel satisfied. It will feel strange, especially if you're used to eating heavier food, but just to give yourself a pause. Not so much raw food if the digestion is compromised, because that is also difficult to digest. So a little bit of a side salad, but nothing too much, just for the next day or 3. And that is the place that I would start. You could also like make yourself an awesome roast sweet potato, drizzle some olive oil or some ghee on it, super tasty, and some avo on the side, where all your soupy stew and your turmeric is going to aid the healing of the digestive system. And just remembering, number 1, that you're doing this to give your digestive system a rest, and to notice how things start moving through. So eating the fruit, the stewed fruit, mixed fruit, or things like mango and papaya and banana and tahini and coconut oil, that's great if you prefer some of it raw. I would, if you want apple, then probably cook it as much as possible, having that in the morning till lunchtime. And then the cooked food, you also say, like, what time should you have your main meal? Well, first and foremost, when you're hungry, but most certainly before dark. So things like the bananas and would be too congesting for later, for in the evening. Staying with that during the daylight hours, the sweeter fruits and stuff. And then your main meal at lunchtime, and then eating again if you need to that day, another meal with some as many wonderful greens from in-season greens, and having that if you can by sunset or just shortly after that, then giving your body time to rest before bed. Certainly not having milky products close to bed, because that's going to be very congesting for you. So at this time, letting the body digest, especially after 8 o'clock, and then having food again, starting from in the morning when you feel the need to eat, when you start to feel the hunger pangs starting to rise. One of the signs that digestion is starting to work better is when you go to the loo, have a poop first thing in the morning, before dawn even, like a ripe banana, straight out, no problem. And you feel afterwards that the stomach comes back into place and you feel more vital afterwards, because the later you go in the day, the more that old waste is staying in the system and then just building up toxicity and clouding your mind. So have a go with that and see how you get on with it. A whole lot. I could go on for quite some time more, because you're asking great questions, and I hope it's okay to share them more widely, because they're meaty questions. They're questions that many people have, and it can make a difference how little aspects of these are handled. So, but hopefully that is enough for now. Let me know how you get on, and then any questions arising. I think I'm more than delighted to just record some suggestions as I have right here. Satnam.